Hello, hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. This is your host Ram, welcoming you to your favorite cricket happening show. And in today's edition, yesterday, as you know, I did the preview. Today, you're going to hear the day one report on the first Test match between New Zealand and Sri Lanka. Just played at the University Oval in Dunedin, and also on the first day's play between Australia and West Indies, which kicked off at the very picturesque Bellary Oval in Hobart. First, just doing a summary, just let's go on to the first match, which is New Zealand versus Sri Lanka. I would say that the toss was a very good toss to win. Very fortunately, I would say there was morning. It was very sunny in the morning, but one probably was surprised by the decision taken by Angelo Matthews, the Sri Lankan captain. On a sunny morning, he invited the Kiwis to bat first, and the Kiwis went on to a huge score on the first day of 409 for 8, which was led by Martin Guptill's superb century, where he actually brought himself into some form after quite a long time by making 156 runs, 88 coming from Kane Williamson, from the classy Williamson, and Brendan McCullum, the captain, smashing it all around the park to score 75 of just 57 balls with 13 fours and 1 6 to really electrify the Dunedin over there. And New Zealand closed the day at a massive 409 for 8. And this was a very big score, especially considering on the first day's play of the series. New Zealand definitely dictating terms here, barring Sri Lanka, who came back in a big way after tea time in the final session when they got 6 wickets, I reckon. So that is as far as the story between New Zealand and Sri Lanka was concerned. Australia and West Indies, one was really waiting, as I said. All the eyes were on West Indies as to what they are going to do with facing such a mighty Australian lineup. Well, I can say that West Indies definitely conceded a lot of boundaries, but definitely there was one surprise as far as the West Indies team was concerned. The other day, we thought that it would be actually Devendra Vishwu, the right-arm leg spinner, playing, but West Indies actually surprised everybody by including the little-known left-arm spinner Jamal Warrican into the mix, and Jamal Warrican definitely showed that why he was included when he picked up 2 good wickets. But what happened later was a huge partnership, and that was a record for any wicket against the West Indies in Test matches for Australia. As Australia, from a score where they were at one point, if you look at the scoreboard there, Australia were 121 for 3, and West Indies looked in a bit of a control at that particular moment. But after that, the West Indies were not able to actually snatch the initiative by grasping some catches, some poor fielding, some poor bowling, and Australia strode on like a colossus as they closed the day at 438 for 3. A record 317 runs unbeaten partnership for the 4th wicket, doing that for them with Adam Voges, who has really had a very good time against the West Indies. He made his debut against the West Indies in West Indies, as you would remember, and Adam Voges went on to his 3rd century in his very limited Test career right now. He was unconquered on 174 at stumps with 19 boundaries, and Shaun Marsh went on to his 3rd century, 139 unbeaten runs with 12 fours, and they will be resuming on the morrow. And I'm sure West Indies are probably looking at 600 now. Australia are looking at 600 runs, and West Indies are the ones who are going to be really under the pump when they come to bat against the Australians. Well, from here, so first let me now that was the summary, and now we will get into the real details of this particular match. As I said, Angelo Matthews on the first day of the Test series actually winning the toss for Sri Lanka, but deciding to actually invite New Zealand first. Now that was something which was surprising because especially considering the conditions that were prevailing at the Dunedin Oval, at the University Oval in Dunedin, one was a bit surprised that the Sri Lankan captain Angelo Matthews invited the opposition to bat. In fact, the Sri Lankans had a debutant, Udara Jayasundara, who is an all-rounder. We also got to see him bowl today, and he's also predominantly he's a batsman, but he can also bowl. He's a left-arm spinner. No, Udara Jayasundara is a right-arm leg spinner, I'm told. So now stumps on day one. So let's see what really happened here at the University Oval in Dunedin. Martin Guptill and Latham started opening the proceedings. In fact, Suranga Lakmal started off with a maiden for Sri Lanka, but after that Guptill and Latham was really carving the Sri Lankan pace bowling all over the park. Nuwan Pradeep and Suranga Lakmal were hit for boundaries. And what was good was that Martin Guptill was playing some superb straight drives. Tom Latham was also really getting on to the groove, and both were really hitting a lot of boundaries at that particular stage. And then finally, it was Lakmal who provided the breakthrough for Sri Lanka when Tom Latham actually spooned a catch back to Suranga Lakmal, who didn't gleefully accept it. In fact, he actually lost it at the first instance, but managed to grab it at the second instance, and that was the end of Tom Latham, out for 22 with 3 boundaries, which made it 56 for 1. After that, Kane Williamson walked in to join Guptill, and the runs really started flowing from both the batsmen, with Guptill dealing in some very good straight drives. As you know, he's a batsman who really likes to play straight. That was fully evident yesterday, and Kane Williamson coming on this, I mean, we know what a great player he's turning out to be for New Zealand. He actually started cashing in on all the loose deliveries bowled by the Sri Lankan bowlers as he started playing through the point region beautifully. He was cutting well, he was dabbing the ball, and he was also playing his exquisite cover drive that he's known for. And the score started really galloping at that stage with Marty Guptill and Williamson looking in fine nick. While that was happening, Kane and the partnership had actually added a marvelous runs at that stage, because it was almost they had 173 runs for the second wicket. So Sri Lanka had to really wait with that particular partnership, the second wicket partnership between with Martin Guptill and Kane Williamson, frustrating them. But then Nuwan Pradeep was the one who managed to get the wicket of Kane Williamson by getting him caught by Karunaratne. And Kane Williamson definitely missing on a century here, as he was out for 88 with 12 fours, and there was nothing in the pitch. The pitch was playing beautifully. The ball was coming very nicely to the batsman, and it was easy to play the strokes there. Ross Taylor was the one who failed here, as he was nipped in by Nuwan Pradeep, as he was LBW bowled Pradeep for 8, which made it 245 for 3. And after that, it walked in Brendan McCullum, and Brendan McCullum took full charge. He saw that the score was reading 245 for 3, and Brendan McCullum started playing in his own manner, and that was to really slam the ball into all parts of the field. He went after all the bowlers. In fact, Dushmantha Chamira who had actually bowled well, was really carted for runs. He was the one, Dushmantha Chamira was the one who was really getting at bowling at 140 clicks, and once it was Brendan McCullum came in, Brendan McCullum taking full charge, in fact coming down the wicket as if he was handling a spinner, and slamming Dushmantha Chamira over the covers for a set. He slashed him for 2 boundaries, and he was basically, Brendan McCullum was totally slashing the Sri Lankan bowlers to all parts of the field. While that was happening, Martin Guptill was also playing his strokes as and when an opportunity was presenting itself, and the score started really galloping once McCullum was at the crease, and he also went after all the spinners as usual. Hit 1 6 and 13 fours, and then while he was looking good for a century, he got to his 50 of 39 deliveries, And look at the partnership. This partnership added 91 runs, out of which the lion's share was New Zealand captain Brendan McCullum, who had 75 runs in that share of that 91-run partnership. And while that was going on, it was Milinder Srivardhana who was brought into the attack, and Milinder Srivardhana struck by forcing McCullum to actually sweep at the ball, but McCullum top-edged it within a gate, made no mistake. And Sri Lanka would have been pretty glad to see the back of Brendan McCullum as he walked back to the pavilion, but not after really causing a lot of damage to the Sri Lankan bowling by hitting 75 of just 57 deliveries with 13 fours and 1 6. And after that, but after that, once Brendan McCullum was gone, Sri Lankan bowlers really started getting into the game pretty quickly, as we saw Mitchell Santner being dismissed by Chamira for 12. So Chamira getting his due reward after bowling excellently, even though his bowling figures might not reflect it. But I thought Chamira by far was the best pace bowler on show. And he was the one who picked up the first wicket of Mitchell Santner. Then he sent Watling into the pavilion for 5. And then Tim Southee was claimed by Luckmal for 2. And this was the phase of play where Sri Lanka definitely came back, because from 334 for 3 at one stage, they reduced New Zealand at close of play to 409 for 8. Well, Doug Bracewell provided some entertainment there by hitting unbeaten 32 towards close of play with 5 boundaries. As he saw wickets were getting lost, he decided to wield the long handle there. Neil Wagner was not out on not, and New Zealand finishing day 1 of this of the first test of the series at a very commanding 409 for 8. Bowling, if you look at it, Luckmal 16 overs, 1 minute 2 for 69. I thought he definitely bowled superbly. Nuwan Pradeep 20 overs, 2 minutes 2 for 101. One thought probably he could have bowled much better than what his figures suggest to be. Angelo Matthews was pretty good, and it was very with the sharp seam movement. He was looking good. 9 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 28. But Dushmantha Chamira, if you look at his bowling figures, probably you feel that he has not done his job. But I have to say that Dushmantha Chamira was very impressive. Probably his figures don't reflect it. 17 overs, 1 maiden, 101 and 1 runs and 2 wickets. And he was really getting the ball to left from a good length spot. And he was also getting, as I said, he was almost hitting 145 clicks at one stage. Rangana Herath, 19 overs, none for 46, no reward for him. Udara Jayasudra making his debut with his right arm leg spin was a bit costly, 5 overs for 33. And Milinder Srivardhana bowled 4 overs for 24 runs. But very importantly, he picked up the wicket of the New Zealand captain Brendan McCullum. So that is the match situation as far as New Zealand and Sri Lanka were concerned on the first day. Now the attention will be shifting on to the Bellery Oval in Hobart, where Australia and West Indies played the first test match, and as I said, it was a bit surprising to see that West Indies decided to actually leave out the experienced spinner and instead went in for Jamal Warrington. One does not know what was the real reason behind that, but Jamal Warrington definitely showed he was amongst the wickets. Actually, he was the one who took 2 wickets. So Australia winning the toss here at the Bellery Oval in Hobart, and Joe Burns and David Warner were almost playing one-day cricket there, because the West Indian bowling, the pace bowling, was really torn to shreds by both Joe Burns and David Warner. As we saw, runs started coming in thick and fast, with also a lightning outfield there at the Bellery Oval in Hobart. Jerome Taylor was taken for boundaries. Kemar Rose was slammed for boundaries. Shannon Gabriel was also taken apart, and for West Indies it was not a good beginning, because this partnership was really going like a train, with Joe Burns and David Warner already put on 75 runs for the first wicket in just 11 overs. And then finally it was Shannon Gabriel who gained the breakthrough for West Indies when he snaked the ball between the bat and pad of Joe Burns to shatter his stumps for 33 with 7 boundaries. David Warner was hitting boundaries in absolute will, as he was joined in by Stephen Smith. And that was the time we saw the introduction of the left-arm spinner Jamal Warrington in the mix. And Jamal Warrington would have been pretty glad that he picked up his first wicket in the form of the Australian captain Steve Smith, as he had him caught by Blackwood for 10 with one boundary, and then Warner, after putting the West Indian bowlers to real shame by hitting them in a very in a sense a very merciless manner, finally departed, as Warwican had David Warner caught behind by Ramadan for 64 with 11 boundaries, and that was the time West Indies really looked like the team that they would really challenge Australia, because at that was the time the score was 121 for 3, and this was the time for West Indies to really capitalize. But unfortunately for West Indies, the capitalization didn't happen, as Adam Voges and Shaun Marsh set about it nicely, and they were also aided by some poor fielding from the West Indians, some catches being dropped, a bit of a commitment not being seen, I thought, and the bowlers also not bowling the right lines to both the new batsmen Adam Voges and Shaun Marsh, and then it was something that the West Indies would definitely rue, that they couldn't really capitalize on a score of 121 for 3, as this pair of Adam Voges and Shaun Marsh strode along in a princely manner after that, with Adam Voges really getting onto the West Indies big time, as he started getting his he got his 100 balls. He hit a lot of boundaries, with Adam Voges absolutely very strong on the leg side, as Adam Voges went on to his third test century in his very limited test career. As you know, at the age of 34, he made his debut only in the year 2015, but he got his third test century, and his record against West Indies has been very good, as Adam Voges at close of play was not out on 174 with 19 boundaries, and Shaun Marsh was exquisite through the cover region. Now Shaun Marsh, we know he's a person who likes to play his strokes, but yesterday it was Adam Voges doing all the scoring, but Shaun Marsh was also not behind. But if you look at Shaun Marsh, he scored an unbeaten 139 with 12 boundaries, and almost all the 12 boundaries, most of the 12 boundaries coming through the cover region, as it was a real treat to watch Shaun Marsh getting on beautifully, driving through the covers, as this partnership blossomed along in a very serene manner to take Australia to 438 for 3 at close of play, a massive score, and also, as I said, the highest partnership for Australia for any wicket against the West Indies, as still the partnership is still going on strong, 317 runs unbeaten for the fourth wicket, with Adam Voges and Shaun Marsh to resume things today, and for West Indies it's going to be one advantage for West Indies would be that the second new ball has been claimed, and probably with the dew factor coming in the morning, I thought West Indies real best bet would be to pick up some early wickets in the first session to see whether they can really set back Australia, because otherwise Australia might run on to a score of 600 to 650 runs. And also one thing that I would like to say about Shaun Marsh is that Shaun Marsh, basically, if you look at his Adam Voges in his limited test career, has gone to his third test century, and Shaun Marsh also reached his third test century. So that tells you that Shaun Marsh, is not a regular member of the Australian lineup. In fact, he has actually taken up the place of an injured Usman Khawaja, and he has done well for himself for sure. But one thing that I would like to say in contrast to Adam Voges, Shaun Marsh has been playing Test cricket for quite a long time, but as I said, he has been in and around the Australian team. But if you look at it, Adam Voges has 3 centuries, and Shaun Marsh, even though he has played a lot of Test matches, more matches than Adam Voges, also reached his third Test century. That really tells you that Shaun Marsh has not been able to really show the consistency that was required. But nevertheless, Australia placed in a very great position at 438 for 3 at close of play on the first day of the Frank Worrell Trophy Test series between Australia and West Indies. As far as the bowling was concerned, Taylor leaked runs, 12 overs went for 76. Kemar rose 11 overs, 1 made and none for 64. Shannon Gabriel, I thought, bowled with a semblance of respectability, but again, it was not good news for West Indies as he had to leave the field with a injured knee. 10 overs, 1 maiden run for 59. Jason Holder, 15 overs, 1 maiden run for 45, bowled well. Jomal Watkins, left-arm spinner, was impressive. He was amongst the wickets, 20 overs, 111 runs and 2 wickets. Brathwaite, 13 overs, was gave away 52 runs, and Jermaine Blackwood bowled 6 overs, 25. So the West Indian captain using 3, 4, 7 bowlers, but really not able to get any breakthrough as far as the 4th wicket is concerned. So, but as I said, for West Indies, best bet today would be early in the morning when the ball is new. There will be some morning dew in the pitch at the Bellery Oval, and West Indies' best chance would be to knock off some Australian wickets on the morrow, which is going to play an important role if at all West Indies want to restrict Australia to a score of less than 650. Well, dear fans and subscribers, and while before I go, I just have some breaking news coming in from New Zealand. There is a player who has not played a lot of cricket as far as international cricket is concerned. His name is Kruger Van Wyk. I'm told that he has retired from international cricket. Well, I don't want to get into any of those details. I just want to share this with you, some breaking news. That sums up my cricket happening show for today. So tomorrow on Friday, I'll be back with the second day's play report on both these matches.